tawny Sunday morning for Chris. Well done on finding those lines. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. I have got the Wiglets. Very exciting on the Juma front because this is my first time sharing the Wiglets with you. I know you've seen them a lot. I haven't. This is my first time sharing the Wiglets with you, and it is really, really awesome. What a privilege to be seeing a spotted eagle owl nest with two little chicks. They look like they are nicely tucked away having a bit of a nap. The one is definitely looking grumpier than the other. So maybe one is in deep sleep and one is judging us for sitting here. I don't know. But that face looking at us looks a little bit grumpy this morning. Luckily for these chicks, they are coated in downy feathers. Nice and fluffy. And that keeps them warm on days like today because Mom doesn't come and sit with them much anymore. She is out hunting with Dad. But it's really cool to at least be able to sit here for a little bit and share the moment. Wow, those kingfishers are loud. Amazing. So I don't know exactly which day the Wiglets hatched. I know that it was while I was on leave. And I know that they're definitely older than 2 weeks old. I can see that just based on their feather color. Because that downy fluff was white when they hatched. And anywhere from about 2 weeks old it starts to change to this more pale grey browny color. But they should be coming up soon on almost a month old, and that is quite a momentous moment for these little ones because at a month old they start leaving the nest. Seems very young to leave a nest, but they do grow really quickly. And within the next while as well, if they haven't started already, from about 3 weeks old, they actually start eating prey whole. So it's going to be a big change. And then once they've started eating prey whole, that's why they can leave the nest from about a month old, because they start growing a lot quicker with large amounts of food coming in. So I would love to see them eating something. I don't think we'll be that lucky though. We've not seen Mom or Dad today, but they are normally somewhere close by, so we'll scan. We'll scan and see. Maybe we'll get lucky and Mom or Dad will come down and make an appearance. So the little one that's lying down on its belly, it's got its head away from us. I can see it's kind of poked its head into that little nook, kind of at the back of the nest. I think that's probably one of the best ways to keep warm. So I don't know if that one's got the advantage over the one that's sitting more upright, but either way they are at least looking like they are weathering the cold pretty well. What is exciting is I can see those little stripes starting to form on the one that's sitting up. We can see its right side, and that is the wing. And you can see it's starting to form a little bit of banding. Very exciting. Some adult plumage starting to break through there, those colors. The one with its bum to us, we're mostly seeing downy. We're seeing fluffy grey. But I would love to know, I mean, I don't know how many eggs there were. We definitely saw 2 before I went on leave. I saw 2 eggs. But I don't know if there may have been a third. There might have been. But they've got a pretty good success rate with hatching. So maybe it was only 2 eggs. And hopefully both of the little Wiglets survive. It would be awesome. Oh, I've just heard the adult. Oh, there it is. And Port's just flown in above us. That's awesome. We'll see if we can get that just now. It's in a bit of a tough spot, so we'll have to reposition for it, but at least we've heard the adult and we know it's here. A watchful eye being kept over us close to the Wiglet's nest. But it would be awesome to see these two grow up and fledge and become successful and start hunting. They'll stick around this area for a while once they've started fledging. And then eventually they'll start moving off. But for now, priority number 1, stay warm, stay hidden. That one flat on its stomach is my spirit animal. That's what I would be doing on a cold day if I was at home. We have found the adult. Yay, an adult wig is here. I don't know if it's mom or dad. It's very tough to say unless they're next to each other. But I feel very privileged. We're being watched over as we spend a little bit of time with the Wiglets. We are not going to spend too long here, purely because we really don't need to. We've seen them and we'd rather leave them in peace. But it is awesome to see those ear tufts sticking up so beautifully. To see this owl moving its head in response to those birds calling. I'm still wondering if there's a leopard here. Almost seems like it with all of the alarm calling. I think we're going to have to investigate that just now. But how beautiful is that silhouette? It's a very moody sky in the background, but it does give us a great opportunity to have a look at those ear tufts. So this is the largest species of owl that we get here that has ear tufts. Not the largest species of owl. That would be the Verreaux's eagle owl, used to be the giant eagle owl. But the spotted eagle owl is the largest species with ear tufts, those little tufts sticking up above its head. They've actually got nothing to do with the ears, really. Their ears are internal. Just a hole in the side of the skull. But it is quite cute. It does give them a very nice silhouette, a lot more personality, very expressive. Waikisha, no. Some owls will nest in trees, and even spotted eagle owls, like our wig family, are known to nest in trees as well. So what is really cool about that and very fascinating, sorry, you're going to hear me repositioning my hat a little bit maybe. What is interesting with that is there's a different success rate nesting on the ground to nesting up in the trees. There is a squirrel stalking up to this owl. I'll finish answering the question. Okay, it's gone up the other side. I thought maybe the owl was going to go for it. It was right underneath the owl there. So there's a different success rate between roosting on the ground and roosting up in the trees, or nesting on the ground and nesting in the trees. And I'd probably think that's because when you're on the ground, you're probably more likely to get eaten by ground predators, where up in the trees it's a little bit more limited on what predators can come and get you. But the nest survival itself is pretty high all round for spotted eagle owls. So some will nest in trees, some will nest on the floor. It really depends on the area that you're in, how many trees there are, and what kind of habitat they have to work with. So here the wigs are on the ground, but in a slightly different area you might find a spotted eagle owl nest up in a tree. I do find it, I mean, it's not that surprising that they're using the same nest over and over again on the ground, because it has worked for them before, although this last brood last year was not successful. But I do find it surprising that after not being successful in the nesting site, that they have come back. You might have found that they would have moved. But so far, it seems to be working pretty well. Alana, yes, the parents can definitely feed the young softer food when they are still tiny, tiny little chicks. Only at anywhere from 3 months old, or 3 weeks, 3 months, what am I saying? From 3 weeks to 4 weeks old, they start eating solid food on their own, and they eat it whole. But before that, they need to have tidbits. So whether the adult rips pieces off and gives it to them, so brings back a carcass and they kind of pick at it, or whether it's kind of softer pellets that are regurgitated, it can happen both ways, and it will be owl dependent and species dependent. But for the most part, they'll only start eating all of that food on their own when they are anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks old. And even then, once they've fledged, they still won't be hunting on their own. So the parents will still be feeding them. They'll just not be in the nest. That still takes another 6 to 8 weeks, almost 2 months from when they actually leave the nest to when they start hunting on their own. And then they'll only leave the area altogether at about 4 months old. So we've still got a good 3 months here, hopefully with the wigs hanging out quite a lot. So I think we may have figured out why the birds are all panicking. There is a bateleur that is flying over, and those wiglets want to make sure that they are very well hidden when there are other birds of prey around. And the squirrel also spotted it. So the squirrel was alarming at that too, and now all of the other birds are quiet. But amazing how everything is so interconnected. The birds are spotting the raptors, and everybody's kind of reacting to that at the same time.